Today, we are going to look at how to become a health professional. We're going to explore five careers, including being a physician, being a nurse, a physician's assistant, a medical assistant, and a sonographer. So we are going to use this worksheet that will include a research phase and then a critical thinking phase. So let's get started. Now we begin. So for the research phase of our project, we are going to fill out the following table. We're going to draw information from study.com to find out information about these particular careers. Now, each one of the careers is linked with these um, links right here. So let's get started. All right. So first, we're going to go to becoming a doctor. Now, becoming a doctor in the USA. Okay. Now, we are going to collect information from this webpage and we're going to paste it into our assignment. And in the process, we're going to learn a bit about becoming a doctor in the United States. Okay, so first question is, what degrees does it take? It's going to take a bachelor's degree, and that's going to be followed by going to medical school and earning an M.D. or a D.O. Most of us are familiar with M.D.s. We might call it a medical doctor. It's a doctor of medicine degree. Also, we have a doctor of osteopathy degree, which is another kind of medical degree that's recognized here in the United States. Now, whenever a person is earning their bachelor's degree, they're going to take pre-med courses. And the whole process of the amount of time it takes is outlined right here. So let's begin to collect information. Okay, first we see that we need a bachelor's degree followed by a MD or DO. So we're going to copy that. We're going to come over here, degree needed. We are going to paste that in. We are going to paste that in right there. Now, normally we have to just remember how many years of college education are involved. And in a previous assignment called College Degrees, we learned that associate's degrees take 2 years, bachelor's degree takes 4 years, and a master's degree takes 2 years itself, but we have to do a bachelor's degree first, so 4 plus 2 equals 6. Master's degree takes 6 years. But in this particular case, the website actually gives us more complete information, and it's located right here. So let's copy this. So we are discovering through this information that for a medical doctor, you're going to do your 4 years for your bachelor's degree. You're going to apply to medical school. If you're accepted, you will do 4 years for medical school. And then when you finish, you have finished your courses as such, but there's still more to go. For being a doctor, there is a on-the-job training phase called residency. And this will last from 3 to 7 years. It could be in family practice. It could be to be a pediatrician. It could be to be a psychiatrist. It could be to be a surgeon. So let's talk about residency maybe in the case of a surgeon. This is going to tend to be more like 5 to 7 years. And let's say that I am just going to try to be a general surgeon. I will apply to a hospital to join their residency program, and if I'm accepted, then I will work for the hospital. I'll earn a certain wage. It won't be as much as I make whenever I am a full doctor, though, but I will make a wage. Um, in it, I'm going to begin to study how to become a doctor. And if being a surgeon is the type of doctor I want to be, it will start off with me doing observations of surgery, learning a lot about what's involved in surgery, a lot of book learning, but also observation of surgeons doing their job. And eventually I will become a assistant to a surgeon and will be more closely involved. After this phase, then I'll actually begin to do some level of surgery with very close supervision by the surgeon. And I'll begin to make my first cuts and be involved in finishing up surgeries and that sort of thing. After I have proved myself at this level, eventually I start doing full surgeries and still under close supervision. As time goes along and I've proved myself more and more, then I will be a full fledged surgeon and will be doing surgery without supervision. Although I'm sure a supervising surgeon will be close by if needed. Um, but that's the way this kind of a program works. It might be I'm in psychiatry and I'm going to learn how to be a psychiatrist or a family doctor or whatever kind of a doctor it is that I want to be. That's how this part works. So you're putting in a lot of years of education. Doctors are some of the most educated professionals that we will see. Now, let's look at Job Outlook. Let's see if our table will list that. And sure enough, it does. Now, remember, Job Outlook, as we learned in our career terminology assignment, means will there be more jobs in the future? And they express it in percentages, either a positive percentage, meaning there's going to be growth, or a negative percentage, meaning there's not going to be. There will be less people in this career needed. And that would be a difficult situation. If you were to train for a long time to do a particular profession only to find out there are less people needed and it's really hard to get a job, that would not be a good deal. So, in this case, though, there is growth, 4%. We're going to add that to our table. And there we are, 4% growth. Let's find out how much a surgeon, or rather a doctor, might make. Okay, annual median salary in 2019. At that time, the median salary, which is a type of average, was $208,000. So they get a good payoff for the amount of time that they've invested to learn how to be a physician or a surgeon. And there we have it. That's the information that we are collecting. Now, remember, there's a second table. What do they do? Now, the interesting thing is, although this is a very complete set of information about becoming a doctor, it never really says what a doctor does. So, in the websites that we're going to look at, there are differences in them. They are not exactly the same. And sometimes the information that we are looking for will be complete. Sometimes it will not be complete, and we'll have to go to other sources. In this case, it does not say what doctors do, but we all know what they do. So in our own words, we're going to type in what we think that they do. I think what I'm going to do is type in medical doctors try to keep their patients healthy. There's a lot of things that we could write, but this is what I'm going to choose to write. All right, so let's go on to the next one. We're going to be very thorough in our explanation today because we're going to repeat this a bunch of times in a lot of different career areas. So now let's look at a nurse. How do I become a nurse? Okay, so now with this one, the thing we were missing before is, what do doctors do? Right here at the top, it tells us what nurses do. Let's copy that and put it into our table. And we'll go ahead and skip down to here. Let's put it in. Some of their job duties may include performing diagnostic tests, following up with patients, administering medication, and running health screenings. Let's see what else they have. Okay, back to the website. Now, what kind of a degree do they need? RNs usually hold an associate's or a bachelor's degree. Okay, let's copy that. And here we go. Here is the degree. Now, the next thing that our table asks is the number of years. Now, in this case, we do not have the website telling us this information, but we know it because of our previous assignment. And it told us that for an associate's degree, it's going to take 2 years. A bachelor's degree is going to take 4 years. So 2 to 4 years. Now, I've already reviewed the website and discovered that it does not include Job Outlook. So I've already put in unknown into that. Now, you could do further research and find out what the Job Outlook is currently for nurses, but we're not going to make it a part of today's assignment. Now, annual salary. Let's go look and see what that is. Okay, here we go. Median annual salary is $73,300. Let's put that in the table. So there we go. All right, $73,300. Okay, now let's look at physician's assistants and also medical assistant. Now, for some reason, study.com puts both of these onto the same page. And kind of interesting because medical assistant and physician's assistant, their role is very different. Kind of the only thing they share is the name assistant. So I'm a little unsure of why they did this, but it makes it nice for us though, because all of the information is right here. So let's look at it. Okay, now one, what do they do? So medical assistants work in the offices of doctors and physicians and are responsible for completing basic administrative and clinical tasks such as taking patients' histories and vital signs, preparing blood samples, and scheduling appointments. We're going to copy that. Let's go back to here. And so that is for a medical assistant. Let's insert it right there. Okay, back to it. Now, physician assistants is the next sentence. Physician assistants also work under the supervision of a physician. However, they have more responsibilities and are more qualified to order diagnostic tests, provide treatment, and prescribe medication. Let's copy that, and we're going to put that in here also. Okay, so we've got this part complete. Let's go back up to our other table. Physician assistants. Let's look at that. Okay, now, well, let's start actually with medical assistants. For a medical assistant, their educational requirement is a certificate. All right, so let's copy that. Now, a certificate is not something that we have learned about before, and it does not necessarily require a set period of time. Like an associate degree takes 2 years on average. This certificate could be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. I worked for an institution that helped people to achieve a medical assistant certification. It took 9 months. Okay, but we are going to uh, not put a specific amount of time on number of years of college education. So I'm going to put varies because we don't know for sure how much it is that it takes. Okay, so let's go back. Let's get some more information. Okay, so we're still looking at medical assistant. Okay, now what is their salary? Their salary is copy it and paste it right there. So 29,960. Now actually that's not too bad for a role that only requires a certificate. So they make not bad money at all. Now notice that we don't know what the job outlook is. And I put unknown into the template here to save you the trouble of searching around for it. I've already looked and the job outlook is not placed on our research website. So, but that's okay. We have most everything else. Now, let's keep going. Let's go over to physician assistant. How much education is required for a physician assistant? It's going to be a master's degree. So we're going to put that in here. Now, we remember from our college degrees assignment that a master's degree takes, you've got to get a bachelor's first, that takes 4 years, and then a master's degree on average takes 2 more, so a total of 6 years. Okay, now again, the job outlook is unknown. But one thing that we should know is that there is going to be growth in all of these fields. The medical sector is a growing sector. Let's find out how much we can expect to make. So, it is $95,820. Okay, so let's copy that. We're going to paste it right here. So actually, this is a very good wage. Not as much as a doctor makes, but a doctor has a lot more education. A little bit more than a nurse makes, and quite a bit more than a medical assistant takes. But it's about right based on the amount of education because they have 6 years of college education. So it makes sense that they would make somewhere around this amount. And remember, these numbers right here are averages. So there are people that make less than that, but there are an equal number of people that make more than that. Now, let's go on to our next one, and that is sonographers. Now, sonographers are a career that I kind of bet you do not know their name. You don't know the name sonographer. I'm betting. But I also bet that you know something of what they do. So sonographers, what they do is they use a machine that uses sound to make images, to make pictures. And one of the kinds of pictures that they take is of babies that are still inside their mama whenever they're pregnant. And so we've all either seen these pictures or we've heard about them. So, and we generally call it an ultrasound. And that's another word for the machine that a sonographer uses. Okay, so let's find out about them. Now, I really like sonographers because, first, it doesn't necessarily take a lot of education to be able to become a sonographer. You can do it with just an associate's degree. but you can also get a bachelor's degree. So let's copy that information. So we need an associate's degree or bachelor's. Now, we remember from our college degrees assignment that an associate's degree takes 2 years, bachelor's degree takes 4 years. So 2 to 4 years. Okay, now will this website tell us the job outlook? And look, it does. Let's go ahead and copy that. Okay, 17%. Now that is a pretty good job outlook. There are going to be a lot of people needed for this particular job, 17%. Now, let's look how much they make. So they make, in 2019, they make $57,720. So that's really a pretty good wage. So for just an associate's degree, they do pretty good. So they don't make as much as doctors, but doctors have a lot more education. They make a little less than nurses, but nurses do a lot of functions. They have a lot of responsibility. Being a nurse is a hard job, and particularly hard in the age of COVID. They don't make as much as physician's assistants, but physician's assistants have to have a master's degree. They make a lot more than a medical assistant. So by what? About $20,000. So sonography is a nice profession in that it doesn't take a lot of education to break into it. There's a lot of sonographers that are needed, and it pays pretty good, almost $60,000. All right, so now we have finished the research phase of our assignment. We have forgotten something. We didn't put what sonographers do. Let's go get that. Okay, and that is listed right here. Diagnostic medical sonographers, let's copy that, use sophisticated equipment to project sound waves into patients' bodies and then create images of their tissues for medical diagnostic purposes. Okay, so let's copy that. We're going to put that in here. Okay, so now our research is complete. Now, as far as the kind of images that they are creating, we've already given the example of a baby that is still growing inside a mother whenever she's pregnant, but they also do pictures of a person's heart. Maybe they're trying to diagnose, maybe the doctor is trying to diagnose a heart illness. Also, it could be a situation of an older person that might have a substance in their arteries and it's kind of clogging things up. And the doctor wants to know how bad the blockage is. So the sonographer can use their ultrasound machine and take pictures of arteries and veins. So there's a lot of ways that sonographers can be involved in helping a doctor diagnose an illness. Okay, so now we do have our research complete, and it's time to go on to our critical thinking question. All right, now our requirement is not real big. We're going to write a paragraph of 3 sentences. Now, in some of your classes, you create paragraphs of 5 sentences. We're not working quite as hard as you would be in those classes. But this is what we want to do. Write a paragraph of 3 sentences to tell me which of these careers is the most interesting to you and why. So, among these 5, doctor, nurse, physician's assistant, medical assistant, and sonographer, which one is the most interesting? Now, we're going to repeat this question on practically every research assignment. And those careers are going to be of all kinds. So I'm not expecting you to tell me that, oh, I really want to do this particular career. And then we get to another kind of a career, maybe construction. And then I'm not going to say, I really want you to like this one. But in every set of careers, there are things that you might like and you might find interesting. So, for instance, I might say, I think the sonography career would be interesting because I would like to be able to use a sophisticated machine to take pictures of patients' bodies and especially being able to create a picture of a new developing baby would really be fulfilling. So there's a lot of things you can say, but I want you to look at this with the eye of, is there something interesting in one of these careers? You may or may not be interested in pursuing it, but there may be something that's interesting to you. Now, if it turns out you look at those and you just can't find anything that looks interesting, you can also do this. You can say, well, Mr. Breeding, actually, I don't find any of these interesting, but what I do find interesting is this career, and tell me about that. Give me 3 sentences about why you find that other career to be interesting. Okay, so that is the assignment. Today's explanation was pretty long, but we're training ourselves to learn how to do these assignments. We're going to do quite a few more of them in a whole bunch of different areas. We're going to learn about a lot of different careers. So I thank you for being real attentive today. And go ahead and finish the assignment and submit it through your Google Classroom. Thank you very much.